A forgotten government auction gave me a warship cheap. What I did next made every empire panic. The galaxy had a way of ignoring humans. Not that they deserved it, of course. Humans were clever, adaptable and stubborn in ways most alien species could never understand. But to most of the empires that ruled the stars, humans were just background noise. A species struggling to lead their small star system, barely able to keep up with trade regulations or interstellar politics. Kai Jansen didn't mind. In fact, he liked being ignored. It made his work easier. Most people went hunting for rare artifacts, black market tech, or the latest combat drones. Kai had a different approach. He went for what no one noticed. That was how he found himself browsing an old government auction on a remote station orbiting a dead gas giant in the Tylara sector. The auction was advertised as obsolete starships and decommissioned craft, but what really caught Kai's attention was the note. Last human warship available, condition unknown. Kai's curiosity piqued. A human warship? In the middle of nowhere? It had to be a relic. He imagined a rusting, slow, barely functional ship, the kind aliens would laugh at. And that made it perfect. He entered the auction hall. It was a huge, dimly lit chamber, mostly empty except for a handful of alien bidders. Tall, multi-limbed beings whispered in clicks and hums, scanning data screens. Kai felt a thrill. No one expected him to compete. He was small, unarmed and human, exactly the type everyone dismissed. The auctioneer floated into view, a shimmering hologram with a voice that cracked like old speakers. Next lot, a human warship, serial code HWS-99Z, originally designed for border patrols. Last operational check, 50 standard cycles ago. Condition unknown. Opening bid, 1,000 credits. 1,000 credits. That was practically nothing in galactic terms. He loved this part. Humans were not just surviving, they were rewriting what it meant to be powerful in the galaxy. And they didn't need massive fleets or devastating weapons to do it. The news of the Phantom Fleet traveled fast. Within hours, minor communication channels picked it up. The aliens began speculating. Could a single human really control a fleet this large? Are humans hiding technology far beyond our understanding? Kai watched it unfold from the ship's observation deck. He could see the panic spreading, alien councils debating their next steps. It was intoxicating. But he didn't stop. He had more tricks to test. Next was sensor jamming and interference. Aliens relied heavily on detecting the electromagnetic signatures of ships. Kai had Hera modify outputs to create conflicting signals, making the ship appear in multiple places at once. The first test, he simulated a jump through subspace, then reappeared in a completely different location. Alien scanners detected 10-WS-99Z in both locations simultaneously. Hera commented, "They will now question the laws of physics." Kai laughed. "Good. Let them." It wasn't long before alien fleets began reporting inconsistencies. Ships appeared where they shouldn't, moved faster than possible, or vanished entirely. The rumor of humans being unpredictable and dangerous spread across sectors without anyone even firing a shot. Humans were not feared for strength. They were feared for cleverness and unpredictability, something alien species could rarely counter. By mid-cycle, Kai was confident enough to test long-range communications manipulation. Alien empires often tried to spy on human systems or intercept transmissions. Humans had learned early to turn communication into a weapon. He intercepted an incoming diplomatic request from a small alien trade council. The message was normal, polite, and mundane. Kai had Hera encode a subtle subtext into his reply. The appearance of confidence, control, and hidden firepower. The council sensors detected the AI-managed holograms, the Phantom Fleet, and the subtle interference in their communications. By the time they decoded Kai's message, their panic had set in. They assumed humans had prepared a major military presence, a presence that didn't actually exist. Hera observed, "They believe we command more than 50 real warships, Captain." Kai nodded. "Not bad for a single ship. And no one died today. That's my kind of victory." That night, Kai floated above the asteroid field observing the stars. Hera projected multiple tactical simulations on the deck's interface. Each showed the reactions of alien fleets to humans. Some panicked, some retreated, some reconsidered trade routes. All underestimated humans before. Now all feared them. Think they'll start sending armies next? Kai asked. Unlikely, Captain, Hera replied. They are more likely to negotiate, hesitate, or retreat. They do not understand humans' advantage, thinking differently. Kai smiled. She was right. Humans never needed brute force. They needed imagination, courage, and unpredictability, traits alien species often dismissed. By the next day, Kai knew he had passed a milestone. The HWS-99Z was no longer just a ship. It was a statement. Humans could now play the galactic stage not as pawns, not as minor players, but as unpredictable forces to be reckoned with. And the galaxy was beginning to notice. Alien communication networks buzzed with rumors. A human owns a warship, and it's unlike anything we've seen. Kai allowed himself a small smile. Let them panic. Let them wonder. Let them think they were in control. It was the perfect human strategy. Appear far stronger than you were, strike with cleverness, not weapons, and make the enemy do the worrying for you. Hera's eye detected a minor incoming transmission from a sector-wide intelligence network. The message was simple. Human vessel detected. HWS-99Z. Advise caution. Kai tilted his head. Just a warning, that's it, Hera replied, for now. But other empires will notice soon. Kai leaned back in his chair, watching the stars blur past the observation window. The galaxy thought humans were small, weak, and irrelevant. They were about to learn the opposite. And the best part? Not a single shot had been fired. Humans didn't need to fight to win. They just needed to outthink everyone else. Kai's mind raced with possibilities for tomorrow. New tricks, new illusions, new demonstrations of cleverness. He would escalate slowly, carefully. Every empire that underestimated humans would panic in its own way. For the first time, Kai realized the truth. HWS-99Z wasn't just a ship. It was a tool to remind the galaxy why humans were never safe to ignore. And as he drifted off to sleep, the stars outside seemed to twinkle a little brighter. A subtle reminder that one human, one clever mind, and one underestimated ship could change the course of empires. The galaxy had begun to notice humans. Not because they had fought or conquered, but because they had outsmarted everyone without firing a shot. And Kai Jansen was at the center of it, sitting in the cockpit of HWS-99Z, planning his next moves. The reports came in from various sectors. Minor trade fleets avoided the humans' supposed fleet. Small patrols sent to investigate were turned away by illusions, cloaking, and subspace tricks. Rumors had begun to spread. Humans could manipulate reality itself. Aliens whispered in worry about fleets that didn't exist, about technology they could not understand. Kai reviewed the latest intelligence data. Hera's holographic interface showed the galactic map, dotted with alien territories. Each dot represented empires that now thought twice before moving against humans. Captain, Hera said, we have multiple reports of sector-wide hesitation. Strategic adjustments could increase influence without detection. Kai smirked. Influence. That was better than destruction. Humans didn't need to rule with fear. They could lead by making others believe in their unseen power. Kai decided to test this influence on a small alien council. The Paragon Trade Council controlled minor trade routes connecting 3 major systems. Previously, humans had been considered irrelevant, barely worth noting. Let's make them rethink that, Kai said. Hera plotted the approach. We can create the illusion of a coordinated human fleet at multiple points along their trade routes. Combined with controlled communication, they will believe humans are monitoring them continuously. Kai activated the plan. Holographic warships blinked into existence along the Council's main shipping lanes, moving in patterns impossible for a single ship to maintain. Hera manipulated comm signals, making the fleet appear active and responsive to the Council's own fleet movements. The Council's sensors detected the ghost ships instantly. Panic rippled through the chambers. Aliens whispered, flickering nervous bioluminescence signaling distress. Kai sent a comm transmission. Humans monitor trade in your systems. Maintain safe distances. Cooperation will benefit all parties. The Council scrambled to respond. Their top analysts tried to detect inconsistencies, but Hera anticipated every move, creating new illusions where old ones failed. The Council had no choice but to comply and negotiate. Kai leaned back, sipping recycled water. It's like playing chess with pieces that think they're in control. Hera replied. They are now aware humans are unpredictable. Their calculations cannot account for creativity. Kai chuckled. That was the key. Humans did not fight like aliens. They did not rely on sheer numbers or brute force. They relied on thinking differently. And no empire could outthink them without understanding humans first. The next target was slightly larger. The Drelix Empire was a mid-tier galactic power known for bureaucracy and rigid planning. Their fleets were well organized, but slow to adapt, perfect for Kai's style. He approached the edge of Drelix space, keeping the HWS-99Z cloaked. Then he created multiple phantom signatures, simulating entire fleets moving within their borders. Holographic projections reinforced the illusion, showing thousands of human vessels at strategic points. Drelix intelligence reports flooded their command centers. Human fleet massing. Potential threat high. The Drelix Council panicked, arguing over what to do. Should they mobilize fleets? Call allies? Launch reconnaissance? Every decision seemed risky, and they had no way to confirm the truth. Kai's transmission was polite, calm, and simple. Humans observe. Actions will be noted. Compliance ensures safety. No threats, no weapons fired, just human cleverness and the perception of overwhelming force. By the time the Drelix commanders realized they had been manipulated, Kai was already gone, leaving a faint trail of holographic signatures that would continue to unsettle them for cycles. With each success, Kai's confidence grew. He realized humans could now operate on a strategic level previously impossible. One human ship, one clever AI, and the ability to manipulate perception could influence empires far larger than his own species. Hera's AI spoke during one simulation. Captain, we could establish sector-wide influence without a single engagement. Strategic placement of illusions combined with controlled communications will generate cooperation or compliance. Kai leaned back, fingers stippled. Humans always punch above their weight. Let's make the galaxy respect that. The next few cycles were spent expanding influence subtly. Kai intercepted minor trade disputes, offering neutral arbitration through hollow transmissions and careful manipulation. Each time, alien empires followed his guidance, unaware that the advice was informed by simulated fleets, predictive modeling, and human creativity. Reports began circulating. Humans were no longer irrelevant. Small empires whispered that a human had a warship. No, not just a warship. A fleet invisible to conventional scanners. Larger empires started to take notice, sending envoys and spy probes. Kai didn't panic. He had Hera scan each approach in advance. Each envoy was greeted politely, given only partial information, and subtly guided toward believing the humans were far more numerous and capable than reality allowed. It worked every time. The more Kai used his tactics, the clearer one thing became. Fear of the unknown was humanity's greatest weapon. Aliens feared humans not because they were violent, but because humans were impossible to predict. Holograms, clever positioning, subspace jumps, all tools to control perception, and perception controlled empires. Even the Drelix and Veridan councils began to communicate with each other nervously, asking for verification of reports. And every report painted the same story. Humans were everywhere. Watching, unbound, clever beyond measure.
Kai smiled. The galaxy thought they had a handle on humans.
Now, every empire questioned that assumption. Then came a challenge Kai had not fully anticipated. A coalition of minor empires began trying to coordinate reconnaissance and espionage. They pulled sensors, analyzing the phantom fleets and scanning subspace. Hera was ready. "Captain, they're attempting a coordinated observation. This could reveal our true numbers." Kai considered it. "Let them try. We'll make it interesting." Hera projected an advanced simulation across the galaxy's sensor networks. The phantom fleets now performed maneuvers impossible for a single ship to coordinate, appearing in multiple sectors simultaneously, accelerating beyond known limits, vanishing and reappearing in unpredictable patterns. Coalition sensors detected them. Reports came in. "Impossible! The humans must have hundreds of fleets in every sector simultaneously." Kai transmitted a simple, calm message. "Humans control what you cannot perceive. Compliance ensures survival." The coalition faltered. Panic spread faster than the message itself. Orders were delayed, fleets hesitated, alliances argued. Every empire was second-guessing its next move. Kai had turned observation into a weapon without ever raising a laser. By this point, Kai realized the pattern. Humans did not dominate with force. Humans dominated with strategy, bluff, and creativity. He could guide entire empires' decisions without ever confronting them directly. "Imagine," he said aloud to Hera, "if every empire in the galaxy believed we had hundreds of fleets. Just illusions." "We wouldn't even need reinforcements," Hera replied. "Captain, that is exactly what they believe. Their perception is our power." Kai's eyes gleamed. That was the beauty of being human. The galaxy expected predictable behavior. Humans were anything but predictable. And now, one ship and one clever AI could rewrite how every empire behaved. By the end of the cycle, Kai's influence had spread across multiple sectors. Small empires negotiated favorably, avoiding conflict. Mid-tier powers hesitated to patrol human-controlled space, and whispers began to reach the larger empires. Whispers that humans were not only clever, but strategically unstoppable. Kai stood on the observation deck, looking at the stars, thinking about the implications. He wasn't just a pilot anymore. He was a strategist, diplomat, and tactician, all in one. One human could do what fleets of thousands could not: manipulate perception, control decisions, and influence galactic politics, all without killing a single being. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. Now, that mistake was becoming painfully obvious. Kai smirked. He could feel the tension in alien communications, the quiet panic, the hesitation in fleet movements. One small warship had created an illusion of unstoppable power, and the empires had no idea how to respond. And yet, Kai knew this was only the beginning. If the galaxy could be manipulated on this scale, what could happen when more humans joined the strategy? More ships, more minds, more ideas. Hera broke the silence. "Captain, predictions indicate that several major empires will begin direct observation soon. They will attempt negotiations or threats." Kai leaned back, a slow smile spreading across his face. "Let them. They don't know the half of it yet." The human spirit thrived on challenge, on cleverness, on the thrill of turning disadvantage into advantage. And now, the galaxy was the chessboard, and Kai was only beginning his first moves. Humans were underestimated. They always were. But that was about to change. Forever. The galaxy was beginning to panic. Not from explosions, not from fleets clashing, but from one human and one warship. Kai Jansen had spent cycles building illusions, manipulating perceptions, and influencing alien decisions without firing a single weapon. Now, every major empire, from the bureaucratic Drelix to the powerful Veridon to distant neutral sectors, was aware of the human factor. I sat in the command chair of the HWS-99Z, sipping a warm drink, watching the holographic map flicker with movement reports. Every dot represented an empire reacting to his carefully orchestrated illusions. Every fleet hesitation, every diplomatic hesitation, was a human victory. Hyra spoke, calm as ever. "Captain, Predictions indicate all major empires will attempt to verify your presence within standard cycles. Their uncertainty is causing coordination failures and trade disruptions. Good, let them try. By the time they figure anything out, they'll already be negotiating.
Kai's plan was simple: maximize influence with minimal risk.
He didn't need to fight. He needed the galaxy to believe that humans could strike anywhere, anytime, with forces that did not exist. The Phantom Fleet concept had worked brilliantly in smaller sectors, but now it was time for full-scale strategic deception. He activated the new set of holographic projections. Thousands of Phantom ships appeared in every major sector where humans had any interest. The projections were fully dynamic, appearing to patrol, respond to fleet movements, and communicate. Across the galaxy, alien sensors detected human fleets in impossible locations. Fleets in one sector would scan and see human ships vanishing only to appear elsewhere. Alien fleets were constantly second-guessing themselves. Kai leaned back. "Hera, let's see how they respond to a small demonstration." Hera replied, "Simulation of demonstration will maintain non-lethal parameters. Probability of success, 97%. The first empire to react was the Drellics. Their intelligence networks were overwhelmed with reports of human warships suddenly appearing near trade convoys, then disappearing without trace. For the Drellics commanders, reality had broken. Every sensor reading contradicted the next. Kai sent a calm, polite message. "Humans observe your movements. Cooperation will ensure stability. Resistance may result in consequences you cannot anticipate." The Drellics analyzed the transmission, trying to detect threats or numbers. The message contained no direct threat, no demand, yet it carried weight. The perception of power made them hesitate, and that hesitation spread. Next, the Veridon Trade Council noticed a human fleet patrolling near several critical hyperspace junctions. Reports indicated multiple fleets appearing simultaneously. Impossible numbers for a single human. Holographic signals made the fleet appear coordinated and intelligent, moving like a perfectly synchronized armada. The council debated. Should they mobilize forces to counter humans? Send envoys? Wait for more data? Every choice seemed risky, and every risk was a product of human design. Kai's strategy was masterful in its simplicity. Humans controlled perception, perception controlled empires, empires controlled themselves. He intercepted a minor alien transmission meant for Drellics and subtly altered sensor feedback. When the Drellics fleet prepared to move, sensors detected human ships blocking the way. The fleet retreated, convinced that direct confrontation was impossible. Meanwhile, Kai communicated with neutral sectors. Using calm, reasoned messages, he guided trade negotiations and border agreements. No force was applied. No lives were threatened. Yet every empire adjusted their plans, deferring to the human influence without knowing why. Hera observed quietly, noting the cascading effects of each decision. "Captain, our influence now extends across 6 major sectors. Minor empires are adjusting strategies in anticipation of human action. No engagement has occurred. Exactly how it should be. Fear of the unknown is stronger than fear of force." By the next standard cycle, alien empires began coordinating their responses. Major fleets moved cautiously, envoys were dispatched, and secret councils convened. Yet every decision was still filtered through the illusion of human omnipresence. Kai orchestrated a subtle demonstration. A series of holographic warships appeared near the core systems of a neutral empire, accompanied by a simple message: "Humans watch. Cooperation. Ensure stability." The neutral empire interpreted this as a sign of both power and intelligence. They adjusted policies, opening trade routes and offering favorable treaties, all without a single shot fired. The aliens began to whisper about a new human phenomenon. One human could manipulate entire empires with cleverness alone. Entire fleets hesitated, alliances faltered, and trade negotiations shifted in favor of humans. Kai realized the tipping point had arrived. Smaller empires were aligning with humans. Mid-tier powers hesitated, and even distant major powers were unsure how to respond. The perception of human supremacy had spread across the galaxy. He sat back and smiled. The HWS-99Z, once a decommissioned relic, had become the ultimate instrument of strategy. With Hera's guidance, one ship had changed the political and strategic landscape of multiple sectors. Hera noted, "Captain, the galaxy is beginning to acknowledge human unpredictability as a strategic factor. They fear your decisions more than any fleet could intimidate them." Kai grinned. "Humans always punch above their weight. Let's make sure everyone remembers that."
A minor alert blinked. Another Empire had attempted a reconnaissance jump toward HWS
99Z. Kai tapped the controls, activating the subspace distortion field. Sensors detected multiple copies of the ship, each appearing in different locations. The incoming fleet scanned and reported. Human ship detected simultaneously in 3 sectors. Impossible speeds. Unknown numbers. I activated a comm broadcast. Humans monitor your movements. Any aggressive action will be noted. Cooperation is advised. The fleet immediately withdrew, confusion spreading among its command. Even the most cautious planners could not reconcile the contradictory sensor data. Humans had become a force that could not be measured. Kai began compiling reports. Every empire that reacted positively was now in subtle alignment with human strategy. Every empire that panicked or hesitated adjusted policies out of caution. No one knew the truth. All of it was an illusion, orchestrated by a single human ship. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated. Not because of weapons, not because of brute force, but because humans were unpredictable, clever, and always thinking one step ahead. Even long-established empires realized that intelligence, creativity, and strategic deception could outperform raw power, and humans excelled at that better than anyone else. By the end of the cycle, Kai had established a galactic presence without engagement. Trade routes were adjusted favorably, minor empires aligned with human suggestions, and even major empires hesitated before acting. Hera analyzed the results. "Captain, humans have achieved what no empire could do with fleets and armies. Sector-wide influence without a single casualty." Kai leaned back, eyes on the holographic star stretching across the cockpit. "That's the difference, Hera. Humans don't just fight. Humans think. And thinking always wins." He could feel the thrill of limitless potential. Every empire was now aware of humans, yet none could predict what a human might do next. That uncertainty created respect, fear, and influence far beyond the size of a single ship. The galaxy, for all its fleets, armies, and bureaucracies, had been reminded of one truth: humans could not be ignored. They were clever, resilient, unpredictable, a species that turned disadvantage into advantage at every opportunity. Kai smiled, watching reports flow in from every sector. One human, one warship, and the clever use of perception had shifted the balance of power. And somewhere in the deep void across countless light years, alien empires whispered among themselves, "Humans are not to be underestimated." Kai closed his eyes for a moment. The galaxy had changed. Not with explosions, not with destruction, but with sheer human ingenuity. One underestimated species had become a force that even the most powerful empires feared, without firing a single shot. Hera spoke softly. "Captain, the galaxy now recognizes humans as a strategic factor. Future operations can expand influence with similar methods." Kai grinned. "Exactly, Hera. Let's make sure they never forget it." The stars outside the HWS-99Z stretched in streaks of light as the ship glided through the sector. Draven Gulain, 99Z stretched in streaks of light. For Kai, for humans, this was just the beginning. The galaxy would never underestimate humans again. Humans had won, not with weapons but with brains, creativity, and cleverness. And that was the true power of the species.